What's up, Secoya Nation? Dr. Schilling and
Dr. Jess.
And we're just here to bring you a thought for the day. And if you saw the tagline, it says, are you living in your head or your heart, or vice versa, or heart or your head? So oftentimes we spend our days as clinicians in our head, right? Yeah. And every once in a while, well, I would say more often than most other places, we tend to drift into our heart, right? Because we connect with human beings. We treat people, like not by their diseases or their conditions. Right. So what is it for you to live in your head?
Mm-hmm. Gosh, that's a good question. So I think that's, like you said, just like seeing people, and it's just being rational about what's going on. If somebody's talking to me about their symptoms, it's just coming up with a plan and being efficient and effective with my time. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah. I find myself, I've been known to be accused of living in my head for a while, but we tend to be driven by our clinical protocols or working on analytical stuff with participants, but in the context of what we're speaking of today is like, how are we living in our head as far as, are we living just by our beliefs, or are we just using our rational brain? Versus our heart is where our faith comes from. Like, and I don't mean faith, I don't take the religious context out of it, but it's like a knowing. We talked about this morning with our team meeting. Our knowing, what do you know? How do you know when you know it in your body? Like, do you feel calm? Do you feel a rush of energy or heat? Mm-hmm. Do you just have the sense of, oh, that's it? Like, what is it for you? So, you and I share that clinical brain as far as getting into nerddom, as far as thinking about stuff really logically. And sometimes it's hard to step out of that, right? It's hard to step out of that into how do I step back into my heart, and how do I engage with our participants? Because I'm trying to get them a clinical result. Mr. Peterson, you want to join the live?
Yeah, come on.
He says no.
I already got to do that once.
All right, good job.
Shoot.
So how do you find yourself drifting from the head into the heart?
Yeah, so I think that happens on the daily, and it's when working with mostly participants too, because it's like, living through examples, different people's examples, my own personal examples. It's, showing people love and compassion through what we do every day, and it's really cool.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's really important for us having kids that we enter that heart space when we go home, and that's a different space than like the faith space. Like, we have this trust in knowing that our lives are going to turn out the way we want it to. We're working towards something. We don't know all the steps along the way, but we're working toward it. But living in that heart space and being ready for connection with our loved ones is really, really important. So it's just an opportunity for you to check yourself and say, am I living in my head, or am I living in my heart? Am I focusing on, I'm running my life on my beliefs and my logic, or am I stepping into my heart? Am I feeling through it? And there's a balance for both, right? You don't want to be uber analytical in a time when you need to connect with your spouse, your partner, your kids, right, and vice versa, right?
Yep.
So any closing thoughts?
We love you. No, we love to support you, and we love to work with people every day. And so if you know of somebody who could benefit from working with us, we're super passionate people here, and would love to share that with you.
Absolutely. If you've been in here, you felt it. So for those of you who've been, you know it. Those of you who haven't, is your opportunity to feel what it's really like to have a family member care for you with the knowledge that you need to get to where you want to go. Yeah. So we appreciate the time you spent with us today, and we'll bring you some more fun stories tomorrow. All right? Have a great